So Happy New Year to you. Happy
Happy
New
New
Year
Year.
to all of our viewers and listeners. 2024 is here. We're starting a new year, doing new things. We are starting a new series called Boob Talk Life Support, where we are going to be discussing all of life's wonderful things, ups and downs, in a holistic approach to try to guide our listeners and viewers along life's journey. And tonight we are starting our first show, which is New Year Transformations. And let's discuss this. And we're going to be discussing affirmations that are going to transform our lives. And so, affirmation number one, embracing change. It's a new year. A lot of changes might be happening for people, some good, some bad. Maybe someone is going through relationship issues, or they've lost a family member, or they're changing jobs, or they've lost a job, or maybe they've had, I know, had a new baby. Who knows? Who knows what it could be? So let's discuss embracing change. How do we approach embracing change in our lives?
Well, first, you have to acknowledge change is worth creating change from. Like if we know that something interrupted our life, then do we, know that it's change and we grow with the change, or are we like stagnant, you know? So that's like first. And I think that that goes with you saying like embrace change. So it's like, yep, it's here. What is it going to do for me? You know?
So no matter what it is, good or bad,
Right.
we should embrace it.
Yep. I mean, it showed up. You can't go back 5 minutes and go take it back,
That's true. That's true.
you know? And you
So
got
I
to
know,
do
but
that
I
one bit
know
at a
it's
time.
sometimes hard to do that
Hmm. It is very hard to do that sometimes,
because I know
especially if
me
it's
personally, I don't like change. I like the same routine, doing the same thing, especially at work. I know what I have to do. I don't like new projects or duties because I'm used to doing what I have to do. I don't like interruption because I have a flow in the system. So personally, me change, I don't adapt very well.
I know that it's like, it's funny because we have conversations sometimes like, are you the river in the stream or are you the rock?
It could depend.
Right? I'm
Could
just going to
depend.
sit here, watch all of this go by till I'm ready.
Right, right, right.
And that's true. You know what I mean? That does happen until you realize, wait a minute, this is all passing me by with no care in a sense. So how do I get there? Right. So one of the books that I have, this is called The Technology of Intention.
Okay.
And it is written by Kim Stanwood Terranova. And her, I don't want to say like spirit guide because it's not. He's a very real person. Is Reverend Michael Beckwith, who created the Agape Church,
Okay.
and like he kept Sunday service going, all throughout everything. He would just stream it live on YouTube. Um, and so she would always write that you need to have an intention and state it has to be positive, you know, and it has to have change and it has to have a spiritual element, right? So you don't want to ask for something like my intention is to like cause harm. You can't ever do that,
Mm-hmm.
right? You can't have an intention to like, I feel bad, so I want to, feel bad. What you can have the intention on is if you're feeling like really bad in these moments is like, what can I do from this? Like, what is this bringing up in me that I have not looked at?
Hmm. So it's basically taking a deep look into yourself.
Mm-hmm. But you can also just set the intention if we're just like, I love embracing change and I love going with the flow. I understand and I see now, like maybe if I'm a little more fluid in life, like it'll work. Yeah.
Hmm. And
But
then, you
that's a
know what?
very simple intention too.
Then I also think about, I think the older I get, it's like I don't feel like having to change. I like the way things are. I don't like upheaval. So I think maybe that is also a part of it. As we just get older, we get set in our ways.
Well, to be fair, after you go through something that's so much and life changing, it can be exhausting.
True.
And if you have not given yourself permission to feel that, it's going to carry with you.
And this also can reflect to having a cancer diagnosis or any other
Hmm.
type of illness. How do you
Hmm.
embrace that change? Like you can't make it go away if the reality is it's there. So how do you embrace that?
Right. Well, I mean, the first step is to embrace it. You can't go back and change it. You can't cover your eyes and say none of this happened. I mean, you can, but eventually you'll see it, you know? So whatever time that is and whatever process that is for you, that's perfectly okay, you know? And be fair to yourself if you're afraid to look at it. And a lot of times when people are afraid to look at it, it's because something that they've seen similarly
Hmm.
and it didn't necessarily come out well.
So it's just probably just fear.
Yeah. I mean, you think of cancer first as a death sentence.
Right.
Nobody thinks of this as a life-changing experiment in order to clear out clutter.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? Who said that?
It's not a purging. Well, I mean, it could be a
It
purging.
is. Yeah, but it actually is,
In essence,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
Physical and spiritual
Yeah.
purging.
Yeah. My aunt would say it's God's way of getting the weeds out of the garden.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen a lot of people that whenever something tragic has happened or if they've, you know, been afflicted with an illness, I've seen them act like nothing is wrong. And I'm like, what? Like, don't you just see what's happening? Or, I never could, because I'm not like that. I might not like the change, but I will acknowledge it. So for me, it's hard. Like, how can people just be constantly in denial about things? So that's
Well,
just really a
right.
mechanism
And a
of,
lot of
that hides their
times,
fear.
yeah, that's very unprocessed trauma. I
Hmm.
mean, a lot of us, we've discussed before about things that we learned from our parents,
Hmm.
you know, because we've never been at the age that we're at and had a different, role model per se, other than our parents. Our parents or whoever our guardians were
Hmm.
a primary source. Like, we're going to respond absolutely in that moment, similar to what we've seen.
That is so true. A friend and I have been like discussing this for a couple months about, just upbringing and noticing how, however, your parents behaved, if they, however, they dealt with situations or communicated, trickles down to you as a child and then as an adult. And then you wonder why, maybe you're not communicating well or, you're in denial about certain things, but it does boil down to the environment that you're raised in.
Hmm. And so when you see that, if you can, kind of step back from that and be able to see, oh, well, there's probably something that's definitely contributing as a contributing factor because some people are raised by grandparents,
Mm.
so then you're like a whole nother generation on top of that.
Yeah. And I think the key is that no matter what, you still have the capability to change.
Hmm. Always, every moment you have,
So
every
for
moment you have.
what would this affirmation be for embracing change?
So if we were to set it and just say, you know what, I want to embrace change, I'm going to say that hope never has a day. Hope lasts forever.
Right.
Right? It's never a day. So if you're like, I hope I can embrace change, well, you're giving yourself enough room to never get there.
Hmm.
So your affirmations and intentions, like you want it to be right now. Like in this moment, I'm here to step into anything that serves me. And for this, I embrace all changes.
Great. And then I would also add that with each change, you can grow and become stronger and wiser.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Affirmation 2, self-reflection and growth. So,
Yes.
how do we incorporate self-reflection into our lives or our daily routine?
Well, I love because I think you can speak into this wholly. I think you absolutely can say, I don't want change. Like a but if you can always ask, like, how is this serving me? I want to learn from what life is showing me. I want to be a part of life. I don't want to run from
Mm.
life.
You know what I always say whenever things happen, I always say to myself, okay, even if it's something bad, I say, you know what? What's the bigger picture here? Because I always feel there's a meaning behind whatever is happening. There's always a lesson for me to learn. So that's my take on that. I always think of like, you know what? What's really going on here?
Mhm. I mean, even in like the class that we have, it's amazing to think like if we look at it in one particular way, then we can also look at it from how our parents did because we're not looking at it just from ourselves because we're taking a minute and when we ask, how am I learning from this? How am I to grow from this? You know, what are these little God-given nuggets of presence for my present moment serving me? And how do I unwrap them? How do I unfold them? And sometimes it is about how to step into a trauma. Sometimes it is, you know, and sometimes it's how to surrender, not in the I give up way, but in the I give to the up.
Uh-huh. And now that you say that, when I was first diagnosed with cancer, you go through all of your emotions, like, why me? Maybe you're angry, maybe you're sad, but then I've shared this many times. Then I got to the point, okay, there is a purpose for my pain, and what can I do? And
Mm-hmm.
so that, to me, I guess, was the part of the self-reflection and growth. Even though this is happening to me, I know it's for a reason. And then I felt, well, God, obviously, you put me through this for a reason. So what can I do in turn to help others? So that was my part of accepting my trauma and self reflection and saying, hey, I can grow as a person. And in the process, I want to help others.
I mean, you literally created a whole new radio show and everything. Like, what a huge pivot, you know, that you created and built such a platform that so many people are learning from.
And, I just want to encourage others that bad things do happen. Unfortunately, it is a part of life, but it does not have to be the end. You can try to find the purpose in it.
You have to find the purpose in it. Otherwise, you're stuck in the pain.
Right.
And that's the reason that you have like affirmations and intentions is to always give yourself direct guidance. So even if you may not have a communication with a higher self, you know, or God or the universe or however it may be, if you have a hard time sitting back and just saying, you know, can you show me the way? Because most people, you know, don't have that open dialogue and have difficulty, you know, seeing signs or whatever, but you always say, like, I'm here, I'm present, you know, and I want to be here for this. And as soon as you do that, you will always be received by what you are to get from it.
Okay. So, what would our affirmation for self reflection and growth be?
This opportunity gave me an amazing platform for self reflection. I didn't know the ocean showed me so beautifully to the sky.
Sounds good. Then also I would just add, saying that you're open to learning and evolving, and that each day you can become a better version of yourself.
Mhm. And connecting with others and learning to communicate in heartfelt, sentences and being able to hug openly. It has so many good things.
And whenever you have a bad day, tomorrow's a new day to start new and be a
Yeah.
better person.
Hmm.
I try to
And
do that. Might not
you
always
do
work,
it.
but I try.
I would say you do.
I
You
try.
just need a bowl of chocolate. There you go. I need a Hershey kiss. And I'm all better.
Okay, affirmation number 3,
Okay.
cultivating gratitude. And I remember for our show in November, we talked about being grateful and gratitude.
Hmm.
So, how does gratitude have a profound impact on our outlook and our mindset?
When we first begin the day with being grateful for the day, we erase the adjectives of being good or bad. We take away the things that we attach them to, and we become grateful for the moment. And as we do that, then things don't hit hard the same way, and they unfold much more beautifully.
And we've also discussed, as cancer survivors or if you've survived anything traumatic, how just being able to wake up in the morning and be grateful and thankful that you're still here and alive, that's
Yeah,
a blessing in itself.
yeah. If you're awake, thank God. Thank you. Thank the universe. Thank you. Thank you. So starting your day, you wake up, thank you. The end of the night, thank you for the day.
And I do it
Same thing.
all during the day, girl.
Hmm. I found myself being saying thank you just walking in the kitchen,
Hmm.
you know, like being able to walk through the kitchen. There'd be days where I couldn't walk through the
Hmm.
kitchen, you know, and being able to feel like the coolness of a drink because your body's so hot and your mouth hurts so much, right? And I would just like thank you, thank you. Like I'm so thankful for this cool glass. I'm thankful for the ice in here. I'm thankful for this juice, that I get to swallow. Like it brings you down to every single moment that you can be thankful for. So if there's ever a big gift in it, this is that.
Yes, it does humble you.
And if you take that moment in advance of to say, show me what I am to learn,
Hmm.
then you are given the grace to be grateful in the moment.
Amen, girl.
Amen, girl. You know.
So, what would our affirmation for cultivating gratitude be?
I would say it would be like my intention is to make sure that I'm always cultivating a huge platform of gratitude in every moment that I receive life.
Amen. Affirmation number 4, manifesting success. How do you
Woo,
maintain a
woo.
strong belief in your capabilities, especially during challenging and difficult times?
Well, when we talk about starting the morning, like that is your plateau. It just is. So in the morning, when you start off and you're just like, thank you. And then it's like, I'm so excited for this successful day I'm going to have. That is so simple, right? That one's easy because not having something that's not successful doesn't actually fall into that category. So if your whole day is successful, that's what's going to keep coming through. Like it's amazing and it's simple. And it's my intention to have the best conversations with colleagues for our highest, greatest good. It is my intention to feel the joy of getting my bonus, by March. Like there's so many things that you can pull in and call in for success. And just the fact like I'm here, so therefore success is following me.
Did you know what? I was just going to ask you, what really is the definition of success?
Right. Because it is anybody's interpretation, right? Because making it downstairs, that was successful,
Right.
right?
And I I guess to me, success is just having your family and your loved ones and friends. That's living a successful life to me,
Hmm.
because money
Feeling
can't buy
good.
you happiness.
Mm-mm.
Someone
When you
does
feel
pay
the
the
love,
bills, but it doesn't necessarily make you happy.
right? So if you start with happiness first, you start with that gratefulness first, and you have that set as your intention, and everything that you do comes from that place of joy, thankfulness. And you're like, from here, everything that I'm going to have is successful because I'm already here and I'm a
Amen.
success.
Amen, girl. That's right.
Ding!
And I know there's a lot of people, and I sometimes do this myself, where we just have self-doubt. How do we overcome that? Or we just, don't believe in ourselves or get down on ourselves. How do we overcome that?
Well, one, be patient with yourself. If it's showing up, it's because it's ready to grow up.
Hmm. And there are a lot of people I know that are afraid to fail, so they don't even try. Then what do you do?
Mm-hmm. Some people will stay there until one day they get the courage. For me, it's one, two, three, jump. I
Hmm.
mean, remember how you jumped out of a plane?
Right, right.
One, two, three.
Yeah.
Out the window she
Uh,
went.
but I mean, and then, I mean, I don't even can't even explain this. Like doing bigger things like that, I'm not afraid to try, but just maybe something simple as like maybe going to the grocery, like during COVID, after
Mm-hmm.
COVID, going to the grocery store. I'm
Mm-hmm.
scared to go to the store, but I jumped out of a plane. And that's just
Right.
how, I don't know why I'm like that, but for me, doing things on a bigger scale
Yeah.
don't scare me, but just doing simple things make me nervous
Well, if
or
you think
anxious.
about it, is going to a grocery store exhilarating?
No.
To be fair.
Right, right. Or
You're not
just
zipping
like a
down the
going to a
cereal.
new place or doing, or doing something by
Right.
yourself. I mean, it could be anything that I just
Yeah.
find myself, well, I'm like I'm scared to do this. And after I've done it, I'm like, well, duh, what was I worried about?
Right. But if you ever think of like when you have self-doubt, do you reach out?
No, I don't.
Hmm.
Because then I probably think I'm feeling that I'm being stupid. I don't know. I'm not.
It helps keep you there.
Hmm?
You know what I mean? It helps keep you there.
That's true.
So doubt helps doubt stay there.
Mm, that's a good
And
point.
that's why you don't want to reach out because, for whatever, they're not any good reasons to say, I can't be vulnerable.
Mm,
Yes, you can, right? I mean, we lost all of our hair. Like
mm.
people just, hi, hi.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like things like that, I embraced. I
Yeah.
wasn't afraid, but like I said,
Hmm.
just other sometimes ordinary things, I'll be afraid just to do it, and I
How
don't
come
see
you
why.
can be a vulnerable human in one, but you're not allowed to in another?
Mm,
So when we ask, like, why is that?
mm-hmm.
Right? And that's where part of that, like, self-doubt, reach out, have a conversation, say, hey, this is what stuck with me. And
Okay.
you're talking to somebody who's not going to judge you and say, girl, why aren't you going to the grocery store? It is not like,
Right.
right? Like, no, you're going to talk to somebody who's going to talk with you, not at you.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to help you find the words. They're going to help you be guided in your own feelings and emotions.
And then I also, again, getting older, I find myself just being more anxious, and so I'm like, and I don't like feeling like that.
Right. I mean, to be fair, right? You've gone through a lot, right? A lot, a lot, a lot.
Right.
So to have an anxiousness because you're just by yourself is more of where that's going to be coming from than anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you were with, family members, you'd have no problem going out,
Right.
right? If you're with your friends, you'd have no problem going out.
Mm-hmm.
But because you're the only one liable for you, you can backtrack on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, nope, 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 nope. And the anxieties get to grow, you know, and then you're the only one who can really step in for you. There isn't anybody else, you know, and that's part of like being able to talk with somebody, you know, and just say, like, what is this that's holding you up? You know, like, go take 5 steps out the front door. You're okay. Take the next 5 steps. You're okay. Why does this feel more anxious getting into the car and getting to the store? Like, what is this about this here? Is it like the germs? Is it nervous of a disease? Is it nervous of being sick? When you really start to talk about it, then it's like, oh, I'm really scared of being sick. Like, I spent so much time. And then it's like, oh, but I did it.
Right.
You see what I mean?
Yes.
And that's when somebody's talking with you, not at you.
Makes sense. So now that we are discussing affirmation 4, maintaining success, and I kind
Mm-hmm.
of veered off the path a little, but it
That's
always
okay.
happens. So
So
what would our affirmation for manifesting success be?
our affirmation for getting success is to know that we have a plethora of information. We have people to contact. We have friends. We literally have an encyclopedia of everything that we need in order to show up for us. We actually are not in this alone.
And then I would also add to that, we can attract success and abundance into our lives, and
Mm-hmm.
you're capable of achieving your goals. Okay, affirmation number 5, embracing positivity. How do we actively cultivate positivity into our thoughts and actions, especially during difficult or uncertain times?
You know, there's many different resources over different religions and spiritualities and gurus, you know, across the world. Some people refer to it mainly as the monkey mind. And when they talk about the monkey mind, it's literally almost like, you know, swinging around in your head. And it's like chatter, 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 chatter. And it just takes over. And it's like you have to have clarity in all of it,
That
you
happens
know?
to me at work.
Well, I mean, it is. And so
It
at some
does.
point, you have to affirm positively that you're going to recognize when negativity is trying to take over.
Mm,
That's first, you know, so the positivity gets to show up because you realize that Mr. Negativity is like all over the place, you know, and that's when they talk about like with meditation, you know, and things like that, and that's where that comes from. So whether it's like the ego, Eckhart Tolle refers to it as the pain body. You know, it's written in so many different forms, but it's literally a habitual offender
mm-hmm.
of being negative thoughts.
Okay.
And so it is a mindful process to say, stop, I understand now what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing within my own mind. And that is enough negativity to get me to kick off my positivity. Thank you for showing up.
Okay. So basically, I know I've probably done this before in the past. It's like when my mind starts swirling or whatever, if I start feeling anxious about things, I will like stop, physically stop, take a deep breath, start breathing, trying to calm my mind down.
Yeah. Start with the breath. It always works.
And then, have you ever just noticed that just some people are always negative no matter what is going on? Like they can never say anything nice, never anything positive, and they're just always negative. And I feel like, how could you live your life just being negative every single day? Like it would be draining.
They might hear it in their next lifetime too.
Maybe. I wouldn't want to find out, but I just
I
like
know.
I know people like that, and I'm just like, oh my God, like, can you please just stop? You're just negative 24/7.
Yeah. I mean, if anything else, it's going to show you how to be positive. So
That's true.
believe you and me.
And then that also goes to what I was saying earlier, how I always try, even though something bad might be going on, I'll just
Hmm.
take a step back and try to say, hey, what's the bigger picture here?
Hmm.
I know I do try to put a positive spin on things. That's just my personality.
So when you do ask, like, how does this serve me? That is how they serve you. They are so negative. Everybody around them wants to be positive. Like, for
True, true,
they're like, whoa,
And then,
I
when you try to
can't.
even try to be nice to them or compliment them, I'm like, oh my God, this is like, and then you wonder why you don't have any friends. Nobody wants to be bothered, you know.
That's a whole story.
It's like, I just don't understand how you can just be, people can be negative just literally 24/7. Like,
Hmm.
has anything good ever happened to them? And it's just like, or and I, no, I see people on social media every single day. They'll be on there ranting and raving, complaining every day, all day long. Like,
Hmm.
how could you live like that?
Well, that's, I mean, like I said, it's a way to show you how to be positive, for sure.
And then I think, well, are they just doing it for attention? Which, you know, boils down to what are they insecure?
There you go.
You always got to
Having
dig deeper,
difficulty.
Mary,
Yep. Yes,
to
you
get the
do.
deeper meaning of things.
Yes. They're one of five kids. They were the last. There's a whole thing.
All right.
Yep.
So yeah, no matter what's going on, at some point I try to just take a step back and like I said, I try to look at the bigger picture and try to be positive.
Hmm.
So for our affirmation for embracing positivity, what would you say?
I would say, like, my intention is to see the positivity in every moment of the day.
And I will add, I would say my thoughts and my actions can create joyful and fulfilling positivity in my life.
Very good.
Okay, this is a big one that I need help with this year. Affirmation number 6, wellness and self-care. How do we
Yes, you
prioritize
do.
self-care for the routine? And what are some practices or rituals we can do? I know we've talked about this in the past, but I
Hmm.
feel, for this year, for me personally, this is something that I've decided that I'm going to make happen for me.
Hmm.
So, affirmation number 6, wellness and self-care.
All right. So we can have a little moment of truth, right?
Yes.
So to say to show up for yourself, right? Like you have to show up for yourself. The fact that we have to say that means that we quit on ourselves way more often than we would ever say, right? Even if it's like eating ice cream during a diet, eating a hamburger, going out for a cheeseburger, not exercising. If there's anybody that can show up for you, you, you can also be the first one to quit, right? So it is an absolute, on purpose, intentional exercise, right? And so a lot of people think that self-care, it's somehow like a form of entitlement or something, right? The
Mm-hmm.
fact that how dare you take 20 minutes for yourself? Well, because I'm going to live 25 years longer,
Mm-hmm.
number one. And I was created by, you know, the most perfected person of all time, like the creator. So why wouldn't I take a moment to care about myself and to say thank you for this body? Thank you for how it serves me. Thank you for how it all serves me. Thank you for my cells. Thank you for my hair. Thank you for how my body can process food. Like, this is all self care. Because if you don't care about yourself, who will?
You got that right. And sometimes self-care doesn't necessarily have to be doing something physical, like, which it can be, like
Mm-hmm.
treating yourself to something, or, getting a mani-pedi, which I like doing, or going to the spa, which I love. But also, I remember we've also been talking about this the last couple of months about setting boundaries. And I've
Mm-hmm.
said for this year's part of my self-care is going to be setting boundaries, saying no, not going above and beyond, doing things that I feel no longer are a fit for me.
Right. So when you talk about self-care, no matter what it is, you can start with, am I caring for myself? Because if you remove self-care and reverse the words, it has a very different meaning. And then your mind, your ego, whatever, all of a sudden takes it from, feeling entitled and maybe you're not worthy to adamant about being able to, because it's like in charge. And it's like, of course I care about myself, right? So your mind shifts over and becomes a part of that.
And I know we've also talked about this in the past. When if you normally don't have a routine of taking care of yourself, and then when you start to, people are then going to question like, "Hey, what's going on with you? Why are you, why are you acting this way? Thinking you're acting funny or you're acting better than them." And so, how do you deal with that?
Just because you sat in a chair an extra 25 minutes does not mean you're better than anybody on the planet. They sat down an extra 25 minutes over the weekend watching a football game. Don't think they didn't.
But but
You
then
know what
that
I
also
mean?
makes me think that it goes back to what we talked about for our one of our affirmations, embracing change.
Yeah,
Now you may be changing for the better,
yeah.
being more positive, but somebody
Hmm.
else might not like that
Right,
change.
right. So are you serving them or are you serving you? Are you caring about yourself or are you caring about them?
Right.
Because
So what
that
we're
is
at,
part of the boundaries, right? I would say, like, self-care is about caring for myself because if I don't, who will?
right.
That, that is it. You know, my intention is to show up for myself every day. It doesn't have to be, an extra treat. It could be withholding that. Like if that's something that you need, you know, like whether if you're diabetic or something and this could cause something, then withhold that from yourself. Same thing. It's still caring about yourself, right? Sit down and read, go to a different park, go to a library, go to an art show, go out in nature, bake brownies because who cares, right?
And I
Yeah.
think we also need to just prioritize and just try to be healthier,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you've had cancer or any other illness. You don't want a reoccurrence. Unfortunately, sometimes it does happen, but even in the midst of an illness, you can still try to be as healthy as you possibly can.
Mm-hmm. I mean, a lot of illness comes from unreleased emotional trauma.
I was going to say, yeah, stress.
Yeah. So why are you going to do that to yourself?
Right.
Not just the health it's the health you don't know,
Mm.
right? That'll build up. You'll get it one day. Don't do that. Take care of yourself now. Don't do that.
And what I just saw on the news a couple days ago. They are talking about preteens now that they are into facial care and buying all the products, and should parents be upset that the preteens are now into taking care of their skin? And I thought, why should you be upset when you don't wait till you're 50, 60 after everything is sag and then want to say, oh my God, I wish when I was younger I'd taken care of myself, and I think that's an issue. Like we don't start taking care of ourselves, and
Well, I think
when you
that,
get sick,
yeah,
you wonder what happened.
right. I mean, there's so much about it right now. So, I mean, I think it's great. I think it's a little young. They definitely don't need collagen at
Right,
18,
right.
but it's not going to hurt them, I don't
But
think.
they, they were talking about just the whole, routine of taking care of your
Mhm.
skin, and so I thought, you know what, I said, what's wrong with that? Because
Right,
when you are young, you don't think about that. Oh, I'm gonna look this good forever. Then when you start hitting 40, you're like, oh my God, any little wrinkle, and you start freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, I wish I had taken better care of myself.
right. And I think it's great. I think it's lots of fun. I mean, considering all the things that they could be learning on TikTok and YouTube,
Right,
I think learning self-care is a pretty good one.
right. So, you
Yeah.
know, you're,
Have at it.
as we say, I guess on the flip side is you never are too old to start to try to take care of yourself either.
Right. Not at all. And even when you're asking, like, how am I learning from this and what am I to learn from this? You start opening a dialogue with yourself, for yourself. It's going to serve yourself. So that is self-care too.
Mm-hmm. Right. And then we've also talked about this many times. Part of self-care is journaling.
Yes, it is.
I know I've been slacking. I know I've been bad. I did write in my journal the other day. So
Mm-hmm.
everything is just always
Hallelujah.
appear. And I think my issue is just this to sit down and just physically write it all out.
Mm-hmm.
That's where or else I feel like I'm too busy or I'm too tired, but I
Mm-hmm.
keep it up here, Mary.
You know, one of the first words that you said in starting this is transformation and affirmation.
Yes.
This is the transformation part. From keeping it from your mind to physically putting it out onto paper. So you're energetically changing it from just your mind and you're making it move through a physical process to where it is then read again by another sense. So it's not just in your mind, you're writing it, so it's a physical sense, and then you're seeing it. That's another sense, and then you're able to read it again. So you're reaffirming it back to yourself. So journaling in itself has a very transformational process.
That's true. And then, always when I do write, if something is bothering me after I write, I know I feel a release.
I mean, some people write less and burn them. So there you go. You're like, you don't have to do all that. But writing it out is a transformational process. It's very good. It's
Never
very
have.
healthy, and it's very one-on-one with yourself. You,
Right.
Nobody's going to really go into your things,
Right.
So sometimes it is the fear of having what's in our mind come out.
I think I'm just plain lazy. That I just don't want to take the time to be sitting down to write. Maybe because I'm on the computer all day, every day. So then just the fact that, oh my God, sitting down to write something, I'm just like, I don't want to have to think, to do anything, to physically have to use my hand for something else. So I think maybe
Mhm.
that's what my issue is.
Well, what if you type it out?
Yeah, I could do that. We'll see.
Yeah,
Yeah, that might work. I'll try
yeah. You can just go, even if you do just like a few sentences,
that.
that's all, just begin it, you
Right.
know?
But I have started for the new year. I just want you to know. So I hope you're proud
I'm
of
so
me.
proud of you.
You know what? Maybe if I set a goal of at least once a week.
Start somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So the affirmation number 6, wellness and self-care. What would the affirmation be?
I know that by caring for myself, I'm going to get the wellness that I need to live my best life every day.
Sounds perfect. All right. And then I will just also add taking care of myself allows me to thrive in all aspects of my life. Because as we were just saying earlier, if you don't make yourself happy, who else will?
Right.
Okay. Affirmation number 7, embracing challenges. How do we approach challenging situations or setbacks in life?
Well, one, embracing the challenge is the challenge.
Hmm. Say that again.
Embracing challenge is the challenge. I
You
think you
always get
just
so
hit
deep,
it.
Mary.
That's it, girl.
And then I just also was thinking, this is also similar to embracing change
Yep.
because change can be a challenge as well.
Hmm. But it is a perception when you see it as embracing change. It's a perception as to how much a challenge it is. But when you point it out as a challenge, that in itself is the challenge.
That makes sense when you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes maybe we even make things more difficult for ourselves to become challenges when they might not necessarily be.
Sure, but you'll learn.
Right? If you've done it enough times.
Yeah, you make a mess,
If
you'll
you
know. I
you keep
probably
hitting
shouldn't
your
have
head
done
enough
that.
times, maybe one day you'll
That's a
say, you know
whole
what, hey.
Urkel right there. Did I do that? Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You just wrecked it all, but that's okay.
Or even if, on the other side of it, if it is something as far as a cancer diagnosis or
Mhm,
illness or health scare that we weren't prepared for,
mhm.
how do we embrace that?
Again, it is the challenge. You have to embrace it.
You have
You
no
can't
choice.
run. You have to show up. It's going to. It's already here.
And then I think, as you always say, we need to give ourselves grace, take baby steps.
And you have this allowance. And when you say, okay, when you actually embrace the challenge, then you will get everything that there is to learn from it. Then you're going to grow. You're going to expand. Your heart's going to open up. Your mind is going to shoot into many places that it's never been before. You're going to be able to talk to more strangers. You're going to lead with new conversations. You are going to love in a greater way than you ever did before. And you thought you were amazing right before this challenge. Honey, you should see what you're going to be like after.
Now that you say that, something happened to me the other day, and I thought about this after the fact. So I was in the grocery store. I just wanted to run in and get some water and get out because I needed to use the restroom, so I didn't want to be in there all day. So as I'm over by the water, there was an elderly man in a wheelchair. And so he says, excuse me. And I'm thinking, oh God, what does he want? Does he think I work here? Does he need me to help him get something? So he says to me, can you buy me some food? So I'm thinking, okay, is he trying to scam me? Like, because you never know. So, and I'm always on guard. So I said, well, I don't have any cash. And so I'm like, I can't give you cash. And he said, oh no, I just want you to buy me some food. I'm a diabetic. And I said, oh, okay. And he was like, do you know anything about diabetes? I need something to eat. So I said, oh, okay. So I said, well, what do you eat? And he said, well, anything, even if it's just a sandwich. So I said, okay, well, just go pick out what you want. And I said, I'll be right there. I said, let me just finish getting my things and put it in my cart. So he wheels away. And then I'm thinking to myself, you know what? I don't know this guy. What if he's trying to con me? I could just walk right out the store. He's never going to find me or see me again. Then I thought to myself, Cindy, no, you don't do that. So I followed him, and he actually ended up to the section where they're making pizza. So I'm thinking, I said, oh my God, I'm like, I hope he doesn't think I'm going to buy him a whole pizza, because again, I'm thinking, is he conning and going to con me? Is he scamming me? So then he just wanted a couple slices. So, the cashier was trying to then ring it up, and then the machine was broken. And I'm like, oh my God. And then he just started talking to me about how he said, have you ever had stinging feeling in your body and your legs, or he said, my whole body. I said, neuropathy. And he said, yeah, neuropathy. So I said, I'm like thinking to myself, yeah, I know, because I had cancer and I had neuropathy. So then he just started telling me all of his other issues, and Emma, still in the back of my mind, I'm like, I want her up and go because I gotta go to the bathroom. I'm not trying to be up here. I just wanted to come in the store and be in and out. This kid at the register can't get in. The machine is locked him out. He's calling all these other people to open the register, and I'm just like, I just want to go. But now I'm listening to this man, telling me about his medical issues. And I still don't know if he's conning me, but the things he's saying I'm familiar with. So I'm like, well, maybe he isn't, conning me. Maybe he's legit. I'm like, at this point, it doesn't matter. So finally, the kid got the cash register open. So I'm like, I don't know if this man is still on the up and up. So I said, you know what, you got your pizza. You can just go away. You don't have to stay here while I pay for it. So I just, paid for it, and then I left. Then by the time I checked out and got to my car, I looked across the street and he was backing up against traffic in his wheelchair. So I said, well, that obviously he wasn't trying to con me. And then I thought to myself, if this had been me maybe 20 years ago, I would have blown this man off. I would have left him there and walked off. And then I thought to myself, and I'm Mary, you're doing this to me again. But I thought, because I've had cancer, I said, I just feel more compassion for people. So, that was the lesson. I said, even if he is scamming me, it doesn't matter, because what did it cost me to pay for 2 pieces of pizza? It just dawned on me. I said, because of my experiences, I feel that I'm just a more compassionate person.
You did it.
And you almost made me cry, but I didn't do it.
That was.
Almost. I teared up a little, but I
She's
didn't
like,
cry. I didn't cry.
thank you.
You're welcome.
So you did it.
Yes, I did it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I just learned, and as far as embracing my cancer challenge, that it made me become a more compassionate person.
Mm-hmm. And that's just what it is.
I mean,
I'm ready
I
to
just find
embrace.
myself doing that, more often. What does it hurt you to be kind to someone or to listen to someone, even though I might be annoyed at the moment, but maybe he really needed to vent about what was going on with him and his ailments or whatever. You don't know. So you never know when you can just be a blessing for somebody else.
I feel like you said it all in the first part. What does it hurt to be kind?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't hurt.
It does.
Right.
And I made it home to go to the bathroom when it was off.
Yes, you did, girl.
Oh, so for our affirmation number 7, embracing challenges, what would our affirmation be, Mary?
Embracing challenges, the challenge.
And I would just add that challenges strengthen me, and they help lean me towards my true potential, my true calling. And as we were saying earlier, when I got diagnosed, after all of the dust settled, I said, what is the purpose for the pain? So I feel the
Mm-hmm.
challenges just help to strengthen you and make you a better person. And as I was just saying, make you more compassionate, hopefully, to be a better person.
Right? Look at you after the challenge.
Okay, so Mary, let's recap.
Okay.
Affirmation number 1, embracing change. Affirmation number 2, self-reflection and growth. Affirmation number 3, cultivating gratitude. Affirmation 4, manifesting success. Affirmation 5, embracing positivity. Affirmation 6, wellness and self-care. And the last affirmation, embracing challenges for the new year 2024. How can we incorporate all of these affirmations to create positivity in our life for the new year?
I am excited and ready to live and embrace every moment of this new year to come. I am ready to learn. I am ready to be a student. I am ready to be a teacher. I am ready to be an open heart. I am ready to hug strangers. I am ready to live my best life no matter my life.
I know that's right. And I feel like that I am just ready to live my truth for this new year. And I
Yeah.
don't care what anybody says. That's what I'm going to do. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. So as we embark on this new year, let's just adapt these affirmations as just guidelines. By embracing all of these new affirmations, I say we can create a positive mind shift. I think it's all about positivity, you know.
It's a transformational year.
Yes.
Transform.
Right. And I think it's going to be about self-discovery, trying new things, doing new things, meeting new people, even though we might be faced with some unexpected challenges and situations. I believe that if we keep a positive mindset, and as you said earlier to me, reaching out to others, I think we can get through anything.
Yeah. Somebody who talks with you, not at you.
Right. So
That's
don't
your
be afraid to
squad.
embrace change for the new year. Don't be
Mm-hmm.
afraid to embrace challenges. Take it one step at a time. As we always say, and as you always say, show grace to yourself.
Yep.
Okay, Mary, any last minute words or affirmations that you have?
Well, if you don't show up for yourself, who will?
Right.
And thank
Love
you very
yourself.
much.
Who will?
Right. You can fill that sentence over and over again, right?
Okay. So I want to say then, here's to 2024.
Here's to
Positivity,
2024.
growth, possibilities, success, love,
Blessings,
peace,
gratitude,
no drama. I'm trying to be drama free, not in anybody's
right?
business of drama this year.
Jazz hands.
Stay in my own lane, mind my own business, setting my boundaries for myself.
Mm-hmm. And remembering to live.
Yes. Thank you, sister.
Thank you, sister.
So I'll
Mwah.
see you for our next show.
All right. Love you
This
guys.
has been our Boob Talk Live with our new series, Life Support, and we will see you next time.
Woo-hoo.
Peace. Bye-bye.
Bye.